Multiplying fractions challenge problem. Okay, so we're looking at an exponent problem here, but it's really nothing more than a multiplication problem with fractions, because 2 to the fifths all to the power of 4 really means 2 fifths times 2 fifths times 2 fifths times 2 fifths. I could take these two at a time until I finish. So if I'm multiplying these, when I multiply fractions, I multiply straight across. So it's 2 times 2 is 4 on top, and 5 times 5 is 25 on bottom. Then I could bring down the rest of it, 2 fifths times 2 fifths. I could multiply these two together first, or I could multiply these two together first. It doesn't really matter because multiplication is what we call commutative, which means that the order that you multiply them doesn't matter. To make things a little bit easier on me, I'm going to multiply these two together because I already know that answer. This was 4 over 25, and this is 2 fifths times 2 fifths, just like the beginning, so that's also 4 times 25. Now that I'm down to the last two, I just continue to multiply straight across. 4 times 4 is 16. And lastly, I have is 25 times 25, which is 625. Of course, always check to see if you could reduce. And if you can, make sure that you do. We're going to leave it like that. You may notice that if you watch our exponent videos later, there's another way to attack this, which I'll just kind of briefly mention. There's an exponent rule that says that I could give this 4 to each of these numbers separately, meaning that this is 2 to the 4th over 5 to the 4th, which means that on the top I really have is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and on the bottom I have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And this is essentially exactly the same thing that we had over here, right? Since all you do when you multiply fractions is you multiply across the numerators and across the denominators. So if you multiply this all out, you will again get 16 over 625.